One of my most requested videos is picking paint colours for a kitchen. So today I'm going to be sharing some of my favourite Farrow and Ball kitchen paint colours, along with the guiding principles I always follow when I pick a colour for a kitchen space. If you're new here, I'm Nicole from Sleek-chic Interiors. I share loads of paint tips, interior decorating ideas, as well as sharing snippets from my own renovation. So let's jump straight in, and I am going to kick off with my 4 principles I follow when I'm about to pick a paint colour for a kitchen space. And if you're in the stages of either renovating or just redecorating, get a sheet of paper now and write this down so you can go through each of these steps before you pick a colour. My number 1 point, and it's what I share on every single paint video, and you need to find out what the orientation of your kitchen is. Now there's so many really simple ways that you can do this. On most iPhone and Androids, you'll have a compass like this, and just get it out and you're going to face it towards your windows so you can see exactly what the bearing is. Now, this is a true north and a true south-facing kitchen for me. So we're dual aspects, so you kind of get the best of both worlds. Typically your north-facing kitchens are going to be a little bit darker, and any light that does come in is going to be blue and very cold in nature. So typically you're going to want to use some warm colours to create a more warm and cozy light feeling in your kitchen. Now if you have a northwesterly facing or a southwesterly facing, you are always going to go with the more dominant orientation. So in that case, it would be north, and in the other case, it would be south. Once you know your orientation, you can kind of break down what colours are going to work best. And I'll just pop a few on the screen for you now. I always go through this process for any orientation. For your north-facing spaces, you're going to want to look for off-whites or colours with warm undertones, and that's yellows, reds, pinks, and sometimes green. If you're in a south-facing room and you want to balance the intensity of the sun, go for something cool undertones such as blue and grey. However, virtually any colour does work in a south-facing room, so there's a little bit more flexibility with the paint colours that you choose here. Now 2, and the big one is, what colour are your kitchen cabinets? You're going to have that anchoring your scheme, and if it's something that you can't change easily, you are going to need to base your paint colour around what cabinets you have. Now if you're doing a complete renovation, then again, you probably are going to start with what colour you're painting your cabinets with, or you might be using your flooring as the main anchor to start your scheme. Number 3 is a really important one, and it should form any design, any time that you try to redecorate in your room. And you need to ask yourself how you want to feel in your kitchen. Do you want to be welcomed? Do you want it to be inspiring? Do you want it to be sultry? Do you want it to feel relaxing and peaceful? Those key terms really help to build out a colour scheme that you like. And you probably will have your favourite colours as well, but just think about how you want to feel, and that will really help you look at what certain colours you want to use in the space. And lastly, when you are repainting your kitchen, it's a really good point to think about your woodwork colour at the same time. I think picking woodwork colour of your walls has to be done together. Each one can complement each other. Now on the screen here is actually one of my favourite Farrow and Ball schemes, and white just does not have to be boring as your base colour. And what we've got here is India yellow on the cabinetry for a really warm pop of colour. We've got schoolhouse white, so you've got a nice bit of balance on the walls, and then we've got this gorgeous light blue which is on the doors. So those are 4 things that I would recommend considering before you get started with choosing colours, because that's already going to give you a really good indication of what colours you might like in your home already, what your cabinetry colours are, and it's going to help you whittle down a little bit easier. I'm going to share my favourite Farrow and Ball shades for kitchens. Now, if you don't already, grab the 2025 colour card. It's got their new colours in it, and this is your best starting point when choosing a kitchen colour, because there's so many, and like I said, I'm only going to share a few of my favourites today, but there are literally so many in their whole collection that this is just a little starting point to share with you today. I'm going to kick it off with warm neutrals. Okay, so one of my favourite whites, I mean there is so many, you've got Wimborne white. Wimborne white is great for a very cold north-facing kitchen. It's got that delicate yellow undertone to it, so it brings warmth into the space. Well, we've got James white on the walls here, and we've got sap green, which is actually one of the newest colours that's been brought back from their archive collection. And wow, this looks beautiful. The green is the star of the show here. I love how it's been taken up and over the woodwork, and it's just a really cool feel. Schoolhouse white is another favourite, so good for any kitchen space. It's got softness with it, it's got a slight yellow undertone to it, and this is paired with Barrow blue on the cabinetry, and wow, I just love the contrast of this. It's such a welcoming shade. I'm going to make a suggestion for if you've got a very particularly sunny south-facing kitchen. I really love Weathered. We have this in our south-facing bathroom, which gets really intense on a very sunny day. It's got the most softest grey undertone to it, but it balances the intensity of the sun, and it's just got a beautiful subtle softness to it, very stylish, and it's a bit more pure white than some of the other shades, but it's definitely one to consider if you like more of a kind of crisp and pristine feel, especially if you're going after kind of very minimal or perhaps a coastal inspired kitchen. And then this is another example here of James white, and actually I really like this kitchen because they've carried the upper cabinetry and the wall in James white all the way around the kitchen. It looks really effective, and when it's actually paired with Minster green, it looks a little bit more green in colour, and that's why pairing it with certain colours is going to bring out kind of a different quality to it. And especially as light changes throughout the day, a lot of Farrow and Ball paints do have a metamorphic quality to them, so they can look like a different shade in different lights. I'm going to mention a couple warmer colours here. Scallop is almost this delicate kind of pink. I don't know how well you can see this, and it is a touch between dead salmon and jitney, but it's not quite as pink as setting plaster, which is also a really popular shade for a kitchen. Now this kitchen that I'm showing you on the screen now is actually Templeton pink, and wow, this is, you can see how warm and inspiring this is in both a north and a south facing kitchen. It pairs so well with that punchy Etruscan red on the cabinetry, and it's super stylish, it's modern, it's bold. So, you know, off-whites aren't the only option. You can go down a different route. Just make sure it pairs well with your cabinetry. Now, something like Templeton pink can almost be classed as a neutral. It's very versatile, and this would look fab with greens, blues, reds, all your more kind of darker defining colours. Maybe you want to go a couple shades darker on your cabinetry, then this would work really well. And I've got to throw a couple of dark shades in here because perhaps you want to go and lean into the darkness. If you've got a north-facing kitchen, leaning into the darkness for a cozy feel is maybe something that you want to do. And this is a navy blue kitchen with Nimes on the walls, and it's a really bold, very sultry feel, and it's a very similar to our cabinetry colour behind actually, but because you have that marble wraparound, it has a bit more of a balance between the two colours. I'd personally in this case have an off-white on the ceiling, because if you are in a dark north-facing kitchen, it's going to feel a little bit more oppressing, but you could pair this with any kind of white, especially something like all white, Wimborne white, or schoolhouse white. And if you're looking for something that's a little bit versatile, a little bit got a colour with it, it's not quite pink, greens are personally always a really good idea. It's so difficult to feel bad in the presence of a green, just try it. But a green that is really great is Mizzle, and this is one of their most popular green shades. It's a gorgeous kind of soft green. It's got a little bit of a grey undertone to it actually, and a green is really good for north and south facing rooms. It's got natural warmth that comes with it. It goes with whites, it goes with greys, it goes with pink. Green and pink is one of the best combinations. So if you want a little bit of a fun kitchen, green and a pink makes a lot of sense. And perhaps you've already picked your cabinetry colour. If you've picked a Farrow and Ball cabinetry colour, What I would suggest with your wall colour is, depending on the colour you've picked for your cabinetry, you're either going to want to go darker or you're going to want to go lighter. So if you've got a really particularly dark kitchen, perhaps you've got something like downpipe. Now you could take this in so many different directions. If you were going for a coastal inspired space, you could go for something like skylight on your walls for a really cool, breezy feel. Or you could even pair with Weathit for a very coastal inspired space. But if you want something a little bit more fun, you could pair this with something like Setting Plaster, Templeton Pink, or even Scallop, which is their new shade that's out now. So if you've gone for something like Jitney on your cabinetry, I would go for something 2 shades lighter for my walls. So you could go for something like Stirabout. You could go for something like Stirabout, or you could even go for something like Oxford Stone or Jerez White on your walls. So you've got a really nice depth of colour between the two. Something you're never going to do is go for something that is very similar from your cabinetry to your walls. And butter yellow is one of the most trending colours at the moment. I put a post in the caption below all about that if you want to find out more. And Farrow's cream is such a beautiful butter yellow for a really warm and inspiring kitchen. And I do say this about a lot of their neutrals, but Farrow's cream is so versatile, and you might not think it, but yellows really do go with so many shades. This would go beautifully with a blue kitchen, green, pink, or perhaps you'd go even bolder and you'd go for something like Wimborne White and Hay on your cabinetry. There are so many amazing combinations. If you want any more advice on colours specific to your kitchen, please do leave me a comment below. Just give me a little bit of a backstory about your current kitchen, your colours, what you like, and I'll come back with my recommendations to you. All the paint colours I've mentioned today are in the caption below, and I've linked some of my other Farrow and Ball videos, especially on north and south facing rooms, if you want a little bit more guidance about when you should pick certain colours. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please do give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to see more of my videos in the future.